So today we're going to be lecturing on body composition and the effects of whey protein supplementation on male and female lean muscle mass. And this is for the group UIC 2019 for KN 243. So our current background information on this topic: according to the International Society of Sports Nutrition, their position stands on protein specifically states that protein intakes of above 1.4 grams per kilogram per day for physically active individuals is not only safe, but may also improve the training adaptations to exercise training. We've also noted that a protein-enriched diet equivalent to approximately 1.3 grams, again kind of similar to the previous statement, achieved through lean red meat was a safe and effective way for enhancing the effects of weight training on lean body mass and muscle strength. Overall, what we're researching here is that protein consumptions can have benefits for both men and women. So what we currently know about how protein is used in our bodies: so for trained individuals, so we consider that athletes, people who are on a consistent exercise regimen, we know that proteins are used specifically to build and repair key tissues in our body, especially important for building of muscles after eccentric and concentric work that causes muscle fibers to tear. We know that protein isn't a primary energy source. Typically, athletes are going to have diets that are relatively high in carbohydrates, and this provides the initial energy sources that we need during training. Protein is specifically looked at either as an workout intake or a post-workout intake. This is typically where we see the optimal benefits of recovery are had.
And so now that we have some background information in regards to protein, let's identify some different variations of protein in itself. The big three are going to be whey protein concentrate, and then whey protein isolate, and whey protein hydrolyzed. And so basically these variants are going to be the most popular choices that we have. We know that many different proteins are available with small macronutrient differences, which is going to ultimately differentiate between the different formula that you end up choosing to take. We also know that current studies focus mostly on a hydrolyzed variant. This is due because it contains a complete profile of amino acids. But for our sake, we're going to focus mostly on whey concentrate due to the high amount of research that we have on that topic. Now, if you were to go to the store and try to purchase your own type of protein, these are some common versions that you are going to find. We have casein protein, and with casein, the main thing about this type of protein is that it's a slow digesting dairy protein, and it's also a typical choice for a caloric deficit program that you may be in. A second option is going to be whey isolate, and with this version, it's going to be a quick digesting with rapid increase in amino acids availability. Most commonly used source as well, so this is going to be often used by athletes, by non-athletes. And then our third and most common one is going to be the hydrolyzed whey protein, and this is basically a further refined version of the isolate version, and this is going to be, the main difference is it's extremely digestible in comparison to the other two.
So in terms of body composition, whey protein can help with faster recovery of muscle force generating capacity following eccentric exercise, and this can lead to an increase of lean muscle mass. What are the effects of eccentric exercise in the muscle? It could be prolonged impairment of muscle force generating capacity, greater muscle damage, inflammatory response, pain, and loss of muscle force generating capacity. Overall, the whey protein has a great effect with the recovery of muscle if they're fatigued from eccentric exercise, but it does not affect the muscle soreness. So according to the study, the consumption of a single dose of whey protein was really affected in the rapid recovery of muscle force generating capacity following eccentric exercise compared with the water, placebo, or other type of non-hydrolyzed form of the same whey protein isolate. There was a complete recovery of muscle force generating capacity in 6 hours after the supplementation. This means that the whey protein really had a good effect because it was able to increase the force generating capacity, and it did not have any effect on the muscle soreness, as we said before. And the whey protein is a good form of recovery after eccentric exercise overall. A daily life example of this could be that someone goes to the gym and exercise for about 30 minutes to an hour and at a high intensity, and then with the intake of whey protein, they should be able to have a faster recovery for their force generating capacity. Even though it's not going to have any effect on the muscle soreness, for their next session, they should be able to lift a higher load or about the same load due to the whey protein.
Now, some factors that can influence the supplementation of protein on your body composition are included to, but not limited to, the following. The type of training that you are doing. Now, this can range from, of course, doing some sort of hypertrophy routine or doing something that's specifically towards strength. And then another one can be, some form of cardiovascular training, such as some aerobic endurance training. We all know that protein, it's going to differentiate between the type of sport that you're in. Initial research suggests that protein is definitely going to enhance your gains in strength and hypertrophy as well. So it's important to keep that in mind in regards to the term of exercise that you're doing, the role that protein is going to play. Another factor can also be your diet. There's also argument in regards to whether a high carb diet or high fat or protein diet can also influence your supplementation of protein. Another factor can be the level of performance that you're at currently. If you're an elite athlete, then your needs might be different in regards to another person who is more at the beginner level. Another factor can also be the integration of additional ingredients. A lot of people like to take pre-workout. They take some induced catecholamines, example like caffeine. So all that also plays a role in when and how much protein you should take along with that sort of stuff. And then, of course, lastly, it's going to be the food or the supplement accompanying protein ingestion. There's also debate whether you should take protein during a meal or by itself. So to talk about first, we'll see about food accompanying protein. In regards to that, there has been research suggesting that protein can be beneficial if consumed with a multi-ingredient formula. We also know that essential amino acids such as milk, casein, egg, or meat is also good when consumed with protein. Some additional forms of protein, whey isolate or whey concentrate or casein, or any other amino acid combined into the formula can also be optimal. So in regards to the quality that you're getting in the protein, along with any extra additives that you add, can also influence the effectiveness. After doing some research, we have research that suggests that resistance training combined with supplements containing whey protein is associated with extra increases in lean body mass and upper and lower body maximal strength. Basically concluding that adding those extra additives, whether it be amino acids or some other form of supplement, along with the protein itself, can basically max out your overall progression. On the flip side, there's also the argument that protein should be consumed alone. And this would be, of course, ingesting it right after an exercise without any additional supplement or any additional food with it. Oftentimes, it's just consumed in this powder version into water and just intaken like that. In regards to this point of view, what the research suggests is that the effect of whey protein ingestion alone seems to be less clear than that reported with the ingestion of a multi-ingredient supplement containing whey protein and creatine. So in regards to this, they conclude that the findings are not as effective or as positive as they would be if you were to consume the protein with some additional supplements.
So continuing on, with future studies, we should investigate the mechanism by which whey protein was able to elicit an improvement in the recovery of muscle force generation. Again, we've heard different studies, but we've consistently seen that supplementing with a whey protein, either during the workout or directly post-workout, is going to show an improvement in that recovery and the muscle recovery, which will enhance lean muscle mass in an individual. We also want to consider time of consumption and its effect on the body's absorption, so we can analyze the different possibilities for specific sports. Again, with this, considering sports, for example, swimming, is it most beneficial to take protein while an athlete is swimming, or again, is it most beneficial for an athlete to take it directly after their practice? There are other sports where it's just not feasible to consume something like protein during it. So again, we need to look at sport specific, what works best for an athlete, and consider how best it's going to be to help them recover, either for their sport or again to exercise. And finally, different athletes and those who exercise have different metabolic needs to goals in regards to lean muscle mass. So again, for sport specific and for an individual who specifically is looking to gain muscle mass, we find that protein is going to be beneficial for them. There could be individuals who specifically need to put on weight or need to specifically have energy to perform their sport or exercise, and protein may not be the most beneficial macronutrient for them. So we do need to be considerate about what these individuals' needs are.
So within this study, they wanted to see if a high protein diet with a heavy resistant training helps improve body composition. The two groups that they had was the normal protein group and the high protein group, that helped compare the difference in their training. Within their training, they had to perform a 1RM squat, a 1RM bench press, a vertical jump, and a pull-up. The normal protein group consumed 0.8 to 1.4 gram per kilogram per day, while the high protein group consumed 2.3 to 3.0 grams per kilograms per day. Since the normal group consumed more than the high protein, through the study they found that the high protein group lost more fat mass and body fat versus the normal protein group. Overall, this research has shown that protein intake greater than 60% has shown a better outcome in body composition when performing heavy resistance training.
So we wanted to end the presentation on a little case study for what we've researched here. So Claire is an active student and athlete and currently trains 5 days a week for about 70 minutes of combined strength and cardiovascular training. Working with her coach, Claire would like to supplement additional protein in her diet to gain more lean muscle mass. So currently her body fat percentage is 13% and she weighs 57 kilograms. Per the research suggested intake, how much protein should Claire expect to supplement in order to maintain or increase her current lean muscle mass? So the first thing we want to take into account, so we've been given a body fat percentage of a client as well as her weight. So we want to calculate Claire's lean muscle mass. So to do this, you're taking the percent of body fat minus 100, and then dividing that by 100, and we're going to times that by her current body weight in kilograms. So with those numbers here, we have 100 minus the 13% body weight, or body fat, divided by 100. So that's 0.87 as a ratio there, and then we're going to times that by her 57 kilograms. So you get about 49 kilograms of lean muscle mass for Claire. So currently our suggested protein intake to increase lean muscle mass, or at least maintain it for an athlete, is about 3 grams of protein per kilogram of lean muscle mass. So knowing that she has about 49 kilograms of lean muscle mass, you would suggest that she supplement at least 3 grams of protein per kilogram, and that's going to equal to about 146 grams or more of protein per training day to increase her mass.
In conclusion, our research indicates that whey protein is an effective supplement for body composition control in regards to lean muscle mass. This is best seen in individuals in strength training regimens or programs whose daily physical activity or sport rely more on protein than carbohydrates. The effectiveness is different for every individual, and certain body composition tests, such as girth measurements and skin fold tests, are a good way to see the results of protein use.